Hello and welcome to the Civil Rights for School Nutrition Programs course developed by the Office of School Nutrition in Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. This is the first course in a series of two. During this presentation, we will learn about civil rights, what are civil rights, and how these rights impact the service you provide to students and families participating in the school nutrition program. First, what are civil rights? Civil rights are the non-political rights of a citizen. They are the rights of personal liberty guaranteed to U.S. citizens by the 13th and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and Acts of Congress. Continuing education is required so that people involved in all levels of administration of programs that receive federal financial assistance understand civil rights laws, regulations, procedures, and directives. State agencies are responsible for educating the school nutrition administrator of the School Food Authority, or SFA, annually. The SFA is responsible for educating their managers and staff who interact with applicants or participants annually. The Civil Rights Instruction Food and Nutrition Service, or FNS 113-1, was issued on November 8, 2005. The purpose of the instruction is to establish and convey policy and provide guidance and direction to the USDA Food and Nutrition Service and its recipients and customers, and ensure compliance with and enforcement of the prohibition against discrimination in all FNS nutrition programs and activities, whether federally funded in whole or not. Let's shift and talk about protected classes. First, what is a protected class? A protected class is any person or group of people who have characteristics for which discrimination is prohibited based on a law, regulation, or executive order. Protected classes for the school nutrition programs are race, color, national origin, age, sex, and disability. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a product of the growing demands of the early 1960s. Launched by the federal government as a response against racial discrimination, the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin in federally assisted programs. No one in the United States shall, on the grounds of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. The Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987 was issued to ensure non-discrimination in all federal programs, whether the programs were federally funded or not. Some examples of discrimination in regard to race and color may include treating or speaking to a child differently, using slang for example, or in a friendlier manner because of race or color. In regard to national origin, assuming that a student doesn't eat a particular food because of their national origin. Example, assuming students of Middle Eastern descent do not eat pork. All customers need to be offered the same food choices. They have the option to choose what they want to eat. The Age Discrimination Act of 1975 ensures that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of age, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal assistance. An example of age discrimination may be that even if a child is younger, they need to be offered the same portion size as other students. For example, you cannot give a quarter cup serving of a food item to a younger child just because they are younger. If you are offering a half cup serving to the rest of the students, all students should receive a half cup serving according to the same meal pattern. Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 is designed to eliminate discrimination on the basis of sex in any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance, whether or not such a program or activity is offered or sponsored by an educational institution as defined by the legislation. On January 20th, 2021, then President Biden issued Executive Order 13988 that references the Supreme Court's holding in Bostock versus Clayton County and states that Bostock sets out the administration's policy that all persons are entitled to dignity, respect, and equal treatment under the law, no matter their gender identity or sexual orientation. Here's an example of gender discrimination. You should not offer smaller food portions to girls compared to boys. Just because girls are physically smaller, they might participate in sports and need similar calories to those boys in their age group. The same size portion should be offered to each student. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 prohibits discrimination on the basis of handicaps in programs and activities receiving or benefiting from federal financial assistance. The Americans with Disabilities Act took effect on January 26, 1992, and prohibits discrimination on the basis of a disability. The Americans with Disabilities Act enables an individual with a disability to enjoy equal opportunity in employment and services. The managers and assistants must work with the school and children that are disabled or mentally challenged. They need to be offered the same choices and serving sizes as the other students, unless they have a properly completed and signed medical statement on file and require special accommodations. In August of 2000, enforcement of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was issued. It stated that persons with limited English proficiency or individuals who do not speak English as their primary language and who have a limited ability to read, speak, write, or understand English could not be discriminated against because of the language barrier. Outreach in other languages is important. Recipients of federal financial assistance have a responsibility to take reasonable steps to assure meaningful access to the information and services they provide based on the following factors. 1. Number or proportion of limited English proficiency persons eligible to be served by the program. 2. Frequency with which limited English proficiency individuals come in contact with the program. 3. Nature and importance of the program to people's lives. 4. Resources available to recipients and cost. We are tasked with exploring the most cost-effective means of delivering language services to limited English proficiency recipients. This is the conclusion of Part 1 of the School Nutrition Civil Rights course. Some key takeaways from this part include: civil rights are the non-political rights of a citizen. They are the rights of personal liberties guaranteed to U.S. citizens by the 13th and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and Acts of Congress. All people involved in administering programs receiving federal financial assistance must understand civil rights laws, regulations, procedures, and directives. Protected classes for the school nutrition programs are race, color, national origin, age, sex, including gender identity and sexual orientation, and disability. Please continue with the next presentation in this series.